No, I'm not talking about the mercury in a battery. I am talking about that planetary energy that is governing Wednesday. That's why in Latin or Spanish you have miércoles. Miércoles is what they say of Wednesday. And today's Wednesday. So there's a lot of emotions. And the day started off emotional. I just did a live, but I'm doing another live because I don't know. I'm just getting more efficient, I suppose, with with my broadcast. Like more efficiency is coming. I mean, I have definitely been learning, but I had to come on here because I shared something in my other live that I just did like about an hour or so ago, and I have to. I want to touch base on that, and I also want to touch base on my experience with my loved one, because yes, I recognize that even me stepping away. I want to make clarification. Me stepping away is truly indeed just establishing healthy boundaries, and I'm still learning um, proper linguistics in regards to um, accurately describing things, because for somebody who just hears stepping away, it's like, oh, she just stepped away, she don't care anymore, she disengaged. No, I haven't disengaged. My this is we're talking about my relative. We're not talking about distant relative. We're talking about a relative that I carried in my body. Like, I'm just practicing healthy boundaries. So what these boundaries do is they keep me safe, and they give the opportunity for this loved one to really step into their own power, where they're not like, oh, my mom got me, I'm just gonna go to my mom, and my mom got me, my mom always show up, she always show up. It's like, no, you got to show up for you. You can't be dependent on mom showing up, because as I had shared with the professional, not even with the professional, because she didn't even go into me. She asked me one question: what are you doing for you? And I let her know I'm taking care of me, and then that was it. It wasn't a me and her type of that wasn't what I was there for. Even though she was available for that, my thing was support me, sister, with this one right here. Like, I'm okay. Yeah, I got emotional. Yeah, I shed a tear. I'm emotional, period. This is who I am. I got emotional in that Zoom call. I almost cried in that Zoom meeting, okay? I almost cried because when I realized what path that I'm on the right path. It's one thing to get a sense that you're on the right path, but when it hits you, like for me, it hit me. Um, Ways I get hit emotionally of confirmation is goosebumps. And when the goosebumps came on my body, when that thought, it was just like, yeah, that's it. And I was just like, whoa, this is it. I should have known this is it. I'm so glad because they do gravitate towards me, and I know you're like, who gravitates towards you? I ain't going into the details of my career path. All I know is the people that I serve, they gravitate towards me. That's all you need to know. But let's get back to me. So I explained how what my sleep pattern was like yesterday. So I came in. If you didn't see the live from yesterday's evening, you're gonna have to just go back and watch that live. I was coming out of work, basically, and when I started the live, I was waiting to meet up with the relative, and the relative was supposed to already been to where I was coming to, and I don't move fast. Okay, I don't walk fast. I don't move fast. That relative does though, and the relative wasn't coming from another location. The relative was on the campus. Like, I was with the relative pretty much all day, being of service to the relative, trying to assist them in navigating their challenge. And so I was like, okay, where's the relative at? And when the relative didn't show up within a timely matter, it let me know, okay, my spirit let me know, you need to leave. You need to leave because this relative really needs to take their challenge serious. They don't need to be like, oh, I'm in love. And it's okay to be in love, okay? I'm not, I'm for love. You know I'm for love. But you have to prioritize loving you before you can healthy love anybody else. That is the foundation, and I dropped a lot of gems. Like when I tell you a lot of gems, I stayed with this relative from the top of the day all the way to the evening. So yes, I was emotionally drained. I was emotionally exhausted, and I came into my safe space to vent, to process, and I made a decision live because I went from waiting and just venting to, oh, I need to move. I need to not wait. I need to set a healthy boundary. I need to process what this professional who works in this particular industry. I need to process what she said out of her mouth. I need to recollect. Oh wait, what's some key pointers she said? They may not be ready right now. Okay, with some other key pointers, and I had to do all of that. I had to do all of that and make a decision for myself. And my decision was, okay, I'm not gonna wait for this person no more. I've already given them enough of my time for today. I've already given them enough of my energy for today. So I'm going to now go clock out. Because I was still on the clock. And I'm going to call me a taxi, but I want to explain how the taxi scenario went. Okay, the taxi scenario was a lesson in of itself. I have to explain how the taxi thing went. So when I left off, this is going to be part two. When I left off, I thought it was gonna be a simple process. I'm gonna call a taxi. Taxi's gonna come get me. Boom, I'll be home within 10 minutes. I live like 5 minutes away from the campus. Um, that was my plan. God's plan be different. And I ain't talking about no man in the sky. I'm talking about divinity, right? And because I am plugged into divinity, even though I set my own intentions and I take action, I'm always open and available to be led and to be guided by the divine. So I'm like, okay, I made the phone call. My phone was on 5%. Okay. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I made the phone call. First cab service I called, I thought I was calling Classic, which is a local taxi service in my area. But I wasn't. I called, which one did I call? Gold or something. And they're very Spanish. There's language barriers. Not the first time the communication was off because when I asked, was this classic, and they was like, no, this is not classic, and I was like, is this a taxi? They should have been like, this is a taxi company, can we be of service? But instead they were like, nope, this is not classic, have a nice day. Like, oh, you just lost business because of our language barrier. But okay, hey, it don't matter, they still making money, right? So now I'm trying to find classic, and like I said, I have only 5% on my phone. So I'm like, okay, I gotta hurry up. I find a number inside of a browser, duck, whatever the fuck. I've been using that browser. I think that browser's full of shit. I'm going back with Chrome. Yeah, because that shit right there, it just erased all of my history. Not that it matters because all of the stuff that's important I have already because I have emails and yada, yada, yada. But the fact that it just erased my history out of no fucking where is like, okay. These are the games that we're playing. It's supposed to be a private. We don't got no fucking privacy. And I think motherfuckers that do extra private shit probably brings more fucking um more surveillance to their ass. Like for real. Like let's get off the privacy shit. Privacy with these damn telephones is a fucking facade, okay? There is none. You want to be private? Disconnect all your devices. Go in the fucking woods somewhere. No smartwatch, No smartphone, no tablets, no Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, none of that shit. This is where you maybe you'll have some privacy. Then they got drones that could fly over and watch your ass any fucking way. So don't be judging me if you feel I'm dressed inappropriate and I'm feeling dancing because motherfuckers got access to these damn cameras any fucking time, any fucking way. But we ain't here to talk about conspiracy theories. I don't think they're conspiring, but I just want to know what all this damn surveillance. How the fuck does crime even exist still? Because criminals are not in the fucking woods somewhere. They're using fucking devices and shit. They were tracking motherfuckers on the boost phones. You know the little bleep bleep phones? They was tracking motherfuckers on the boost phones. So how the fuck is crime even in existence when you could just tap into a motherfucker's smart device and see what the fuck they talking about? I digress. We gonna get with the DOJ because they need to get their life together. Department of Justice need to get your life together, and yeah, y'all need to cut it out. I know y'all need jobs, but come on, come on, come on. We really want to eliminate crime. We can. It's gonna be a process, yes. But let me not get too far, because again, we know, we know Miss Mensa Society, Takara L. Bay. We know that I have a very expansive brain and mind, and some people feel it's weird because you're like, wait a minute, slow down, you're going too fast. And I'm like, oh. Let me slow it down. So let's get back to the topic. The topic is how it went yesterday when I made a decision to prioritize me. I recognize, hey, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. What do I need to do? I need to get home in the most comfortable way as possible, and I need to relax because I'm exhausted. And I need to stop trying to process and figure out something that is not my problem or challenge to figure out. I've been doing my part, and a lot of people are curious because a lot of people want to know the background and things of that sort. And so briefly, if you want to know the background, I was in foster care. I didn't have no parents, so I basically had to figure out life on my own. Okay, so it made it a little extra challenging, you know. Of course, I'm an attractive woman, so there were people that were coming at me with um, their own scenarios of what they wanted or what they felt that they could do with me, being that I seemed to be vulnerable, but somehow I was not completely vulnerable because I did have a foundational teaching by a strong black woman, and that structure, that foundation made me solid. So even though there were things that um, probably could have shooken the foundation was never shooken. I still had morals, I still had values. I always had in my mind, this is the type of life I want to have, even though I had no clue. No clue how to create it at that point in time. And of course, like I said, there were other individuals, and I dare say entities and energies that was like, oh no, you got a twat, we're going to control you, but something was always, I dare say, rebellious within me that was like, no, no. So, at a very young age, I met an individual who showed me love, so to speak. It was not healthy love, but it was love and compassion. And they came at me initially as a friend. This person was twice my age. This is my ex husband. I'm not going to go into all the details, but long story short, I married him. He had challenges that he was dealing with that he never shared with me. I was unaware of, I was naive to. All I knew was the results. And the results was domestic violence. The results was me being the breadwinner, me providing for the family, me making sure we had a roof over our head. Yeah, the person that was in their early 20s. When we first met, I was a teenager. But yeah, that was me. That was me. I was the breadwinner. I was the provider. He was just there aesthetically. and fighting me and causing challenges and introducing energies to me and my family. And there were energies that I didn't even know anything about or could even articulate what was going on. And yes, his sister tried to warn me, sort of. She should have just came directly and told me. There were clues. Had I been more experienced, I would have recognized those clues and I would have been out of Dodge. But I was naive. I was young. I was a teenager. I was in my early 20s. That stayed that stayed like that till I was 26. 26, I finally got the heck up out of Dodge and stayed out of Dodge, which Dodge being him. And I got away from him. I got my divorce. And then it was other traumas. My youngest child passed away. Now I'm navigating, which was easier to navigate being a provider in smaller cities, such as Buffalo, New York, such as Allentown, Pennsylvania. You know, those are smaller cities compared to New York City. So I took the experience that I had in navigating, providing from those smaller cities, because that's where I had my first apartment, was in Buffalo. My second place was in my second place well, my second place was in Buffalo too. My third place was in Allentown. You know, so I knew how to navigate. It was a cohesive system, different state, different city, but same system. For once, the United States is actually united somewhere. No. So I took that mentality into where I came from and tried to apply it there, and it was a whole nother ball game. And there was a lot of trauma and traumatic experiences with that. And yeah, so let's get back to uh where was I at? Shit. Oh, getting home yesterday. How did we get to my ex-husband? Oh, because some people want to know. Oh, yes, because some people are like, how could this magnetic, intelligent woman be faced with such challenges, you know? And then they see the challenge that my son is dealing with, and they're curious, does she have that same challenge? No, I don't have that same challenge. However, because of the challenges that I just explained to you, is why, unfortunately, he was more susceptible to experiencing that challenge. And here we are right now in the here and now. So, for those who are curious, hopefully now you have some clarity. For those just being nosy, whatever. I don't give a fuck about y'all motherfuckers. But those who sincerely are curious, you got some clarity. So now, let's get back to yesterday. So I called the cab, and language barriers, couldn't get it with the first cab company I called. So then I call another taxi service from East Orange. I get it. I order. I successfully ordered a taxi. I let them know, listen, I'm at this particular building. Here's the address. Enter in through parking lot C. Like, I'm getting good with my instructions. I give them clear, concise instructions, right? Dispatcher puts it in. Cab 58 is on its way. Get off the phone. I'm like, yeah. I go to the front because I was sitting down on the side. I go to the front, awaiting my cab, you know? Um, Security guard is there and everything. And I'm like, hey. He's like, hello. This little boy voice. Young man's voice sound like Barry White. I had to do a double take, like, yep, that just came out of your skinny behind. But anyway, I wait for my cab. I look at my phone. I notice my phone is on 3% now. I'm like, oh shit. What if the cab? So of course, Mensa Society, brainiac me, dare call me a nerd. I don't even care. Okay, because I'm a sexy nerd. Okay, even though I'm not sexy right this second, perhaps because I just woke up a couple of hours ago and I just haven't even done any. You know, I sprinkled water on my face. I didn't even put the soap, but I did moisturize last night. So yes, if you see the skin getting better, because I'm no longer neglecting my skin. I'm no longer neglecting me. I'm taking care of me. So anyway, I see that the phone is on 3%, and my brain is going, okay, you know the taxi is going to call you. So you need to call them from an alternative number and let them know that they cannot reach you on that particular device and give them the alternative number. So that's what I did. I wrote the number down just in the nick of time. First, I tried to charge my phone. I had the wire and not the power plug. So I was hoping the behind the security desk they had a power plug. They didn't. So once that didn't work, I'm like, okay, let me write down the number and let me call from the desk phone. So I wrote down the number. Phone went like maybe 2 minutes after I wrote down the number, the taxi still hadn't shown up because now I'm in the lobby. I could see the front door. I could see who's coming in. I could see who's going out. So I call the number, the taxi number. I explained to the dispatch specifically, clearly, concisely, this is what's going on. He said, oh, the cab is already en route to you. I explained to him, okay, they cannot call my cell number. So they have to call from this number right here. This is a stationary number. They could call this number, this extension, if they need to, even though I'm right here at the front desk. He said, okay, no worries. Your cab will be there in a few minutes. I said, okay, thank you, sir. Have a good day. 20 minutes later. 20 minutes later, I'm still waiting for that goddamn taxi. The whole staff has left. Like, I didn't know. This is not my first time seeing them line up, but they literally line up to clock out, okay? Lined up, clocked out. I'm there looking out the window for my dad going taxi. And I don't see no taxi. And I'm like, oh, look at them. Some of them carpooling and shit. I'm like, oh, I need a carpool buddy. But they was out. Like, they was there from 8:30. They clocked out. When they clocked out, I don't even know, probably was 4:35 at this time. And they was like, nobody was sitting and shit. They saw me, hey, hi, you always speak to me, And that was it. And I didn't even have the opportunity. I didn't get the idea of carpooling until I seen all of them and they all left. And I was just like, dang. And the two sisters that lingered that I possibly could have carpooled with, they was like already out the door. And I was just like, should I ask them? Should I? I hesitated for a little bit. And I was like, nah, your cab go be here, girl. So they left. And I just watched the parking lot empty. And I was reminded of why I need a car. Because it was just, again, I live 5 minutes away from their driving. Now this is way beyond. I waited 20 minutes after recalling. So before I called the taxi cab company back, I was already waiting. Okay. I was already waiting. So we're talking about a good half an hour. And I'm like thinking to myself, shoot, I should have stayed clocked in for all of that shit. But anyway, um, I'm waiting, So now 20 minutes turns into 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, Takara, patience, patient old Takara. Why don't you freaking call them back and see what's going on? He said a few minutes, a half hour ago. I call back. The dispatch tells me, oh, he dropped the car. So you didn't even think to call back this number to tell me that the cab canceled? You just gonna have me sitting here waiting. And I didn't even have that discussion with him because that wasn't even any on my mind. What was on my mind was me getting home. That was what's on my mind. Not me debating with the daggone dispatcher, So the dispatcher gave me a whole bunch of crap. It's like, oh, the driver canceled. Oh, no driver wants to come out there. And already, you let me know what it is. The company I called is in East Orange. They ain't trying to come a city over. They talk about it's traffic, it's rush hour, duh. It's traffic every freaking where. People are getting off of work, but okay. If that's the excuse you want to use. I see how they operate. The dispatch is not far from the train station. They don't want to leave they just go from the dispatch to the train station, which is literally like around the corner. It's not even a 5-minute drive from their main location to the train station, Brick Church. So they just go from where they park at. If they don't take the vehicle home, most of them, they take the vehicles home and they don't live too far. But they go right there to Brick Church and they just line up there. They just line up there and that's how they catch their fares. They line up there and so they're not trying to travel nowhere. They're being lazy. Okay? And I ain't mad at them. But that was not helping me. That was not servicing me. So I thought, okay. Goodbye. So as I got off the phone and I'm like trying to figure out what to do, before I made the last phone call, a gentleman came downstairs and then he doubled back. An older gentleman. And when this older gentleman came downstairs and I seen them, I was like, okay. Something in my spirit was like, ask him if you could carpool with him. And I was just like, really? I've never even spoke to this person before, let alone even seen them before. But I'm about to ask them to carpool with them. That's what my spirit directed me to do. So when I got off the phone, I noticed that he was in the parking lot and like moving around. It was, you know what was interesting? You know what was very interesting, which I just noticed, is that he was in the parking lot, and I didn't notice that then. Like I seen him. My thing was ask him. That was the inclination I got. Ask him. And then when I seen him, he was clearing out the passenger side. Man, he was clearing out the passenger side before I asked him. Mm, I don't get goosebumps. When I went up to him and I asked him politely and said, "You're not going far?" Mm-mm. 5 minutes away. He said, "Okay." He drove me. We chit chatted. We had small talk. I offered to pay him for put some money towards gas. He refused it. No, I was just like, wow. Yeah, that wowed me. I came home. I made some popcorn. I watched a little bit of. I had to. It was a struggle for me not to call my relative. Not too much of a struggle because Spirit told me, "Don't you plug up that phone. Leave that phone alone." So I watched on my tablet a couple of sitcoms. I was asleep very early. I feel like I fell asleep while it was still light outside. Knocked out. I was exhausted. I was exhausted. I woke up. Then I plugged up the phone. This was after midnight though. I still didn't turn it on. I just plugged it up. Um, I've already discussed how my sleep pattern went. When I got up to go to the ladies' room after 2, I was up. I turned the phone on. I was scrolling on the internet. And here go my nosy behind. I'm like, ooh, let me go look at these pictures over here. I didn't see the new pictures. They're all the same pictures. And they're all from the same day. But I just saw the picture that I was in. And I was like, okay. And you know, it was a big group picture. So I went, I gotta laugh at myself. I got to laugh at myself. Oh, I gotta laugh at myself. And check myself. Oh, I gotta plug up his phone too. Look at that come up. Tell him. Here I go, being nosy again. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in. Ooh, it feels good. This cool air feels good. I'm supposed to be going to get a pedicure today. This air feels good. I need to call and see if my tech is even there because she do be off some days. Excuse me, my plug up my phone. Um, y'all just gonna have to excuse me for a second because I gotta use the whole bath and everything. I'll be right back. Can I pause this? I don't know whether I could pause this or not. Hmm. I don't think so. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Whew, whew. So, the reason why I'm laughing, right, is because I got it had to be 3 o'clock in the goddamn morning. I had already been onto Facebook and Instagram and all these places, and I decided, oh, let me go look at these pictures. And they were when I say old pictures, they were not. They were pictures I had already seen. I just didn't look at the pictures up close. So I was like, oh, let me take the opportunity and look at these pictures up close. And again, there were so many pictures for me to look at, but I only looked at the one that I was in because that's the only one that would download because my phone memory was full. So when I woke back up this morning, because I did go back to sleep like around 4, and then I woke back up, I deleted, I cleared space. I cleared space so that I could see other stuff. But I didn't have time. Like I cleared space. I got a phone call. I had a Zoom meeting at 9. I had to like hurry up. I didn't get time until after the Zoom meeting. I had already touched base with my relative, um, because I had rested. I had rested. I had recharged. I did prioritize me. So I had some abundance to touch base with them and see what's going on with them. They're fine. They're still taking action in regards to their challenge. So I'm proud of them. I'm going to check back with them in a little bit. But they're good. And we're communicating. So I know they're good. So I go after my Zoom meeting and, I'm sitting here in the office space and I'm like, let me just, check out these other what you call it. Because it was a lot of interesting energies. It was a lot of interesting energies. And I'm going to piggyback to what I stated in part 1. If you do not have full self control over yourself, you leave yourself to be open to other energies that can manipulate, step in, and do all type of stuff. So it's not just about self-care, it's also about self-control. You got to be controlling yourself. And when something falls out of whack, like with me, I felt out of whack this morning from nothing. Nothing happened. Nobody did nothing to me. Nobody even called me. I didn't get no text. None of that. None of that. From just me seeing something, me not liking what I seen. I should have just said, I don't like that. Which I ultimately did resolve to that. But initially I was like, I don't like that. And then my thoughts went all the way to the left. I don't like that. What if this? What if that? What if? And I had to stop myself. I had to stop myself. I had to take control of myself. I had to say, stop, self. Like, first of all, you're creating these thoughts yourself. This that you see does not depict that at all. You are creating that. Why are you creating that? Oh, you have some uncertainty. Oh, me. Me looking at me. I can't blame nobody else for how the hell I feel. How I feel is under my control. Right? So I had to be real with myself and I had to be like, okay, I had to stop the negative thoughts and I had to say exactly how I felt with myself, with what I was, whatever, perceived. And then the reason why it's so freaking funny now, the reason why it's so funny now is because as I observed more things, more pictures, I realized, oh, okay. There's no concern. There's no concern. So this is the full kind of story. I can't go into all the details, but here's the full story. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a fundraiser. Um, I almost didn't go to the fundraiser. I felt a very strong, because there was two events happening at the same time. I felt a very strong urge to go to another event versus going to the fundraiser. However, I paid for the fundraiser, and even though I had already declined, like I had already called the sister and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna make it," and I was like questioning again, questioning myself. Okay, you're not gonna go to this thing that you paid to go to. That's gonna give you the opportunity to meet with these professional women. That's part of an organization that has existed over 100 years. To go to this event, why? Now, of course, the topics were important to me, but I would have to be honest with me. Am I going to this event for the topics? Yes, the topics are important to me. However, I am always coming from a slightly different perspective, and I didn't go into depth about it. I just was like, this was a couple weeks ago. There was more uncertainties then than there are now. Apparently, due to my experience this morning, they're still little teeny bit. But it was definitely more then because it was just overwhelming to me. And I was just like, this is a lot, like just don't go. And I was like, nah, fuck this shit. I'm going. So last minute, like the day of the event, I called her and I was like, I'm going. And something really strange happened en route there where I paused because I was what's the word? It was wanted for me to be at this other event. And because I didn't show up at the other event, the result was the result was the result was a response. It was a response, and it was a clear response. It was a response. It was clear, and I was just like, I don't have any regrets going to the fundraiser. I had a very good time at the fundraiser. I got to see some kids because it was a fundraiser for children, for the literacy. Well, it was a fundraiser for an organization that serves literacy with children. So it was a good thing to be there. I'm glad I got to experience a person who, even though they were being transparent with me, I didn't know that they had um, such strong beliefs towards one of our leaders. They were very adamant, and again, I'm going to piggyback to this. I'm going to piggyback to this statement a lot. If you do not have full control over yourself at all times, you open yourself up to other things controlling you. So this sister that I got into a heated debate with obviously was being a puppeted, and she didn't even realize she was being puppeted. But I realized it, so I stood up and I stood firm. Oh yes, he is. I don't even know the man like that, but I could feel the brother, and I just know he's on the right track and he's doing the right thing for the right reasons. So I don't give a crap of how it looks. We are powerful. They say with two or more come together. So it don't even take a lot of us to be in agreement. It only takes two. And I don't care if there's thousands on the other side, millions, billions, or trillions who do not freaking agree. It can still happen with the two. So that's my standpoint. So anyway, um, so, and that's with everything. But we're talking about politics a little bit. They're trying to come at him. They're trying to come at him. But they don't realize the more you try to come at this politician who's in favor of the people, you are fueling him. Their best bet would be to not pay him no mind, but now he has national recognition. And oh, I'm just gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there because I could go way into politics, and we gotta just stop right here. So anyway, I did not regret my decision. I felt like my decision was, um, even though I heard clearly that I was wanted to be somewhere else, and it wasn't that I didn't want to be there. It was just that I made plans to do something else, and I feel like me staying with my plans was a very dignified choice and decision because what it let an individual know is I'm not the same. You know, I have interacted with similar individuals before, and not. I don't want anybody to misinterpret the words I'm saying. When you are interacting with people of influence, right? Um, they're used to their influence having what's the word I'm looking for? Um, calculated results. Um, they're used to working calculatively, operating calculatively, meaning they think things way through and way advanced. And so when they do something, they're expecting a result. However, when they don't have the result that they expect, they can respond in many different ways. Sometimes they can respond emotionally. Sometimes they can respond like, oh, okay, maybe I should step away because I can't calculate what this person is going to do. Or they could be like, this person has a mind of their own and this person is in control of themselves and shoot. I actually may see that as an asset and a benefit, um, so all of that. So, how I feel though is that it was a little bit of an emotional response. It was like you should have been here type thing. And it was like, well, you were there. Shoot, I can't be in two places at one time, and neither can you. So you were there. You got the information. You don't have to be there for it. I have other plans. And so interesting enough, they published their experience at the event, and when they published their experience, it was I'm trying to talk artistically, right? It was a goddamn on picture. Yeah, it was a picture. And I was like, okay, look at you. You look all happy. And I was like, okay, like I ain't even about to trip. Like, good, 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 good. So there was a series of things that happened before I had my little moment in the wee hours of the morning. You know, um, I was like, I never automatically assume anything. I always look for patterns. I always look for consistencies. I always look for, a series of things. So that was the first thing. It's like, okay, I see it. Nice. And then the second thing was what I saw today. What I saw this morning. And what I seen this morning, I was just like, oh, for real? That's what we doing? That word? Hold up. What's going on here? What's going on here? And so I checked myself. And then after I checked myself, what I needed to do, did my meeting, had my coffee, had a piece of chicken, and had cleared the space on my phone, and I was able to see more. I could just laugh at myself because I'm like, oh, this is somebody who don't mind getting in people's personal space. And I'm a little bit of a stickler about personal space because I can feel energy. So if your energy ain't right, I don't want to be next to you. Don't come next to me. Please don't take it personal. But if your energy ain't right, I don't want to be close to you. If your energy's right, though, I don't mind. And, you know, I don't mind. If the energy's right, I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. But the energy ain't right, no. But I see from that person, it don't matter. They don't, because not everybody's an empath. Not everybody can feel. I get that. So, hey, if you, I can't, and I'm not that I can't, but I'm not gonna be uncomfortable. I am not going to be uncomfortable, even though sometimes you have to be uncomfortable when you're learning something or you have to share spaces with different energies. Okay, because I'm comfortable with me and I know my boundaries. So I ain't gonna front. Where I stand is where I stand. You know where I stand. I ain't gonna act like one way in front of people. I will be cordial. I will always be cordial. I will always be respectful, unless you take it out of context. But you stay your butt in line and expect to be treated with respect from me. But don't expect me to be doing extra. Don't expect me to be doing extra. I ain't gonna do extra. I ain't gonna be all like, we're buddies now. No, I don't trust you. If I don't trust the person, that ain't gonna change overnight. That ain't, you gonna have to prove yourself trustworthy, and you just showing the fuck up. Excuse my language. Is not proving to me that you trustworthy. Mm. I'm gonna say that one more time. You just showing up is not proof to me that you're trustworthy. So this is what you can expect from me. Cordialness, respect. The moment, the moment, the moment, this goes for anybody, male, female, she male, he, whatever. I don't know what they call all these transgenders. The moment, and I know that all the time somebody's energy is off, it has nothing to do with me. I recognize that people got their own personal stuff that they're dealing with. But the moment any soul throws any funny energy at me, it's an alarm. It sets it off an alarm. Pew! Be cautious. And I've seen people energies fluctuate and experienced it. So I'm cautious. Okay. All right. I'm cautious. You don't get to a certain age without learning and without paying attention, without um you know, just analyzing the data of your experiences. You just don't reach a place that I have reached. And where I'm at is a very safe space, a very secure space. That's why I'm comfortable with being transparent. That's why I'm comfortable anything. Like, yes, my attire will change. Okay. My headdresses will change. My hair will change, you know. My skin is changing too because it's getting clearer. Even my skin is changing. Oh, I'm feeling brighter, no more eyes say blue. Heart for me. You put the color back in my life. And now, okay, sorry. Yes, I break out in personal musicals all the time. A song will come to me at all times, okay? But yeah, the fact is, this my soul is my soul. I am that I am. Even like for example, um, I went on a trip recently, and they were doing incantations. When you speak of something, you're incanting it. That's why our words are so powerful. And it was doing like a group incantation, and they was like saying that they were somebody else, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna put that behind I am. Now everybody else could shout that if they want to, but no, I am that I am. Now you can shout that you that if you want to. Hey, I ain't judging you, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't have to show my support by being a follower. Okay, I can show my support just by authentically showing up. The fact that I authentically showed up, the fact that I honor this work that have been done, that is enough for me. I don't have to incant that I am that soul or that spirit. I'm not going to do that. And I don't think leaders should encourage motherfuckers to do that neither. I don't think they should. But that's just my personal opinion. It was very insightful and delightful because you know I be paying attention what I did. It was a great experience. Um, I allowed my spirit to be my guide, and I just was me. I just was me. I just was me. I wasn't like out of place. I was just me. And I sat down and I got to come back to what I said in the other live I did today. What is meant for you is meant for you. You don't got to go searching for it, especially when you're embracing, especially as a woman. Like women, yes, they have been women hunters. I'm not saying that women don't hunt and things of that sort. But um, I don't want to go. I don't want to get too confusing. The fact is, there's a reason why. Let's dive deep. There's a reason why there are more men who embrace um, dominating feminine energy. When I say embrace, I mean they want to be women. There are more, and yes, there's women who want to be men, but there's more men that want to be women. Not every man, but there's more that want to be women because it is powerful to be a woman. It is powerful to be a woman, but it is also powerful to be a man knowing your true self. Because when you know your true self, then you balance the two energies. The two energies are in everybody. Male energy and feminine energy is inside of everybody. But those males that embrace that extra and they gotta, they're doing that to attract. They're doing that because they don't want to be hunting and thinking so freaking hard. They want to just have stuff come to them. And that's their choice. I'm not here to judge anybody. I just accept how I came. Sometimes, when the floods start flooding, and not those good floods, I'm talking about those other floods. All floods are good. But when the Red Sea be Red Seaing, I'll be like, here we go. But it's also an opportunity. It's opportunity. It's an opportunity. I can give to the earth. It's such, so again, I have no complaints. I enjoy the way I incarnated. I embrace all parts of me, including the male energy that's in me. Um, but I am definitely becoming more balanced because I had to exercise a lot of male energy in the rearing of my child. I just shared with y'all earlier that how I was the breadwinner. You know, now I was the provider. I was the one making sure how we gonna navigate and get a roof over our head. I was the one that would seek work, find work, and provide. I was the one who would access resources and accomplish. Yeah. So I was definitely more into that energy for a long period of time. And I'm like, I had to adjust myself because, I like this energy. I like the feminine energy. You lead. You lead. But don't think just because you're leading, I don't have a mind of my own. I still have a mind of my own. So let's respect each other's individuality, you know, and let's be great. Let's be great individually and even greater together. Okay, where neither one of us loses our identity, although, um, you know, although new and better things are emerging for us both. And I feel it's a result of the reconnection. It feels like a reconnection. It doesn't feel like a new connection. It feels like a reconnection. Even though there are things to learn because the experiences have been different. But the passions and the heart and the... I ain't going no further. Let me stop right But I'm glad that I can share my self reflection, my processes of self reflection, my self discipline, my self control. I'm glad I could share that because, again, the purpose of me sharing is to inspire others to do the same for themselves, not in the same way, but to look at yourself, excuse me, acknowledge your behaviors. And if there's anything that ever makes you feel uncomfortable or makes you feel off, like I felt off, it wasn't long, it didn't last for long, but it was a definite strong current. And I had to get to why do you feel like that, Takara? Because you're going to have to, yeah. You're gonna have to really trust. You're gonna have to absolutely really trust. And you're just gonna have to know. And okay, it's okay. It's okay. That's developing. The trust is developing. The certainty is still becoming more anchored. But luckily, there's always confirmation to support the certainty. Um, and I recognize that as powerful as I am individually, which I'm well aware of, and I honor and I respect and I um, appreciate responsibly, that whatever is happening, this this fluctuation that it's not really a fluctuation, but this seems like reunification that is occurring is bigger than me. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. And again, like I stated before, I don't fight with nature. I'm friends with nature. And I just am like, okay. I went through a whole few weeks of surrendering to divinity that now it was not comfortable surrendering to divinity, but what I have learned in my experience of consciously surrendering, like purposely utilizing my mouth to say, I surrender to my divinity, the part of me that is not in this physical body only, but is way bigger than I could even imagine to be with this mind. And I have a pretty expansive mind, but still, we're talking about stuff is that's I feel is beyond English. I don't feel like there's words even in the English language to describe certain aspects of the spiritual realm. Um, but yeah, I doing that, and anchoring that this is what I'm doing. Like, this is what yeah, still going to use my intellect. I'm still going to analyze things. I'm still going to do that. Like, that's what I'm going to continuously do. But I'm also going to be receptive to divinity. That whole me getting home yesterday was divinity getting me home yesterday. In my mind, I looked at the physical. Okay, I got some cab fare. Let me call a cab. I'm gonna pay the cab. The cab gonna get me home. Divinity said, you're going to get home and you're not even going to have to pay to get home. And I was like, huh? What? I didn't even get the memo. I didn't get the memo until the memo was there and I was just like, oh, ask this stranger? Okay, let me ask this stranger. This is apparently the stranger is supposed to assist me. Hi, sir. How are you? Would you mind me carpooling with you? Oh, sure. Come on. And I felt like this, the way the stranger responded, the fact that the stranger, and me recollecting of the fact that the stranger was clearing out the seat, the fact that the stranger cleared out the seat tells me that the stranger was prompted, like, she gonna need a ride, so clear out the seat for her. Now, if she don't ask you, she don't ask you, but I'm telling her to ask you, so. So I did it, and I could say thank you, and I could just like everything is okay, everything's okay. I'm learning. I'm a lifetime learner, and I've learned quite a bit about the unseen, But there is still more to learn, and I'm just appreciative to be in a space and in a time where I'm connecting with individuals who also are lifelong learners and um, who acknowledge and operate and who use their power. Okay, I'm sorry, that startled the shit out of me. Who use their powers responsibly. I didn't even know that window was open. Who use their powers responsibly. Okay. That's my cue to stop it. I'm glad it was caught on the live. Our elements are our friends, though, people. So they're not nothing to fear, but they are to be respected, okay? And I control my wind, not the wind. There's a big difference, okay? My wind is the wind that comes in and out of my body, okay? The wind that's flowing through the atmosphere and cleansing, and yeah, that's my cue to keep it moving. But I'm grateful to be in the space that I'm in, and my intention is to inspire others to explore beyond what they have been told, and not to mirror or to be anything outside of their selves. I think the goal should always be to be a better version of you. It's wonderful to admire others. There's plenty of people that I admire, but I don't want to be like any of them. I love being me. And when you fall in love with yourself, wherever you are, like I'm a limping, um, physically, temporarily impaired woman with acne scars, okay? Need to go to the dentist and fill some fillings, okay? Properly. Take out some tooth, what's left of it, And I say that to say there is improvements that I am conscious of and that I am working on, even with these things that I'm working on to improve with myself. I still love me. I still love me. Yeah, it's tricky for me to walk upstairs. Yeah, it's tricky for me to do a lot of things with my legs, but I love me. And it took some healing to get to this point to love myself, even with the need to improve. So love yourself. Love where you are. Love you. Admire others. Don't ever seek to be somebody else. You never know what it took and what it takes to be somebody else. So love you. Admire, but love you. Admire others. Yeah, you might see somebody who's stronger. You may see somebody with greater influence. You may one day want to have that type of influence. Well, it's going to start with you loving yourself. It's going to start with you improving yourself. It ain't going to start with you wanting to be somebody else. Admire and learn, but don't try to replicate. There's only you, and there's only those that you admire. Yes, they may have positions that you may one day want to have for yourself, but it takes time. They didn't get there overnight, and they didn't start last year. They started before I was even incarnated, baby. They started before I was incarnated. So, yes, admire them, respect them, and be true to you because they're phenomenal. Because, see, shit. Me? You would have been out of my goddamn going space. You would have been out of my space. I don't want nobody in my space unless it's a freaking child. Unless it's literally a child. I don't want no adult. that wants to be me in my space. Hell no, get away from me. Get the fuck away from me because you need to love you. You need to love you. So the fact that this individual has the compassion and the heart space to even allow you to still be in their spaces speaks volumes about them. And yeah, that's all I want to say right now. Bye. Because you know I'll keep on talking. One day I'm having a. One day, before I leave, I'm just going to put it out there. One day the Super T podcast show will be syndicated and on your television. And your television, your streaming devices one day. So stay tuned.